content can be a lot of different things. One, I mentioned blog. So obviously you're talking about post articles, things that are topical to the industry and things that people haven't, top of mind when they're looking at senior living. It can be a tip sheet, a resource type sheet. It can also be a guide if you're taking a deeper dive, right? Each of those are, to some extent harder than the other. If you're writing something that's 10 pages, you're obviously doing a deeper dive. It's a little bit harder to do. So you can start small, and initially, what you do is you put a plan together that you can accomplish. You take a look at, who's on my team, what are the skill sets that everyone has, who can be doing what, and how can I make a plan, even just have a goal of producing 1 or 2 pieces of content a month. I want to get to the sales team and find what would be the most helpful. And what are their highest number of objections? What are the topics that come up? What are people struggling with? In the past couple of years, a lot of it might have been COVID. And, what are their concerns? How can we answer them in writing? How can we, do something to give them so that it can make them feel more secure in their decisions? Diving a little bit deeper into what does that content look like? I mean, there's a lot of different ways to look at it. I mentioned where they are in their journey. You can write content to somebody that's a couple years out on their journey. Especially when you're talking about independent living, people that may be looking a little bit further out. You can also write content for people that are in an emergency situation, that are literally need driven and need to make a quick decision. So you're looking at the different places on the journey and thinking about, how do I answer these questions? But, in marketing, you don't have to make that up. You go right back to the sales team. As soon as you start, and I said this before, but bridging the gap, to play off of you all. But between marketing and sales, your sales team quickly responds to that. And they say, gosh, thank you for doing this. And suddenly you're now really, having a relationship that they're going to be sharing more with you. And that gives you more, concepts for what we could be doing to help them, so you can target people on different places in their path. You can look at objections. I always say, look at their pain points. What are the things that stop people? You suddenly are going along this journey and they go, I changed my mind, or they put a deposit down and they pull it. What is it that stopped them? Are they overwhelmed? Do they not understand the financial? Do they know if mom's going to fit in? And so we want to answer what stops them. And so all of those different things are ways to really look at the content and say, these are the things we should be writing about. You said, how do we do it? So I'll skip the why, because I think the how is oftentimes, where people definitely get stuck. But how, one, you want to, like I said, you want to look at your team, see what your skill set is. 2, if you have people on your team that you think can start to do this, and you have a topic, you set a small goal, you make an outline, you pass it back to somebody that you trust, and you just start doing it. And before you know it, you're designing it and you're putting a first piece out there. If you can't do it internally because you don't have that strength on your team, is there someone you can outsource it to? Can you pay, somebody that's an expert in one of those areas, design, writing, whatever, to help you once you have an outline? Do you work with any agencies? Is that something that you want to pay and outsource? So there's a lot of different ways to accomplish it. Obviously, it depends on your budget. And I've done it all different ways. And I think depending on what you're trying to do, you can use different methods for it. Some you may do internally, you may need to look outside of your organization, but it's well worth it.